us on Season 4, Episode 40, where we watch The Final Table, Season 1, Episode 5. I'm Chris Lorenz.
The Noah Singer.
The Brian Houston.
Robert Ketz.
All right, we've been talking about it, so we had to do it.
It was a cultural phenomenon like a year ago.
Mhm.
2
And
years ago.
now it's time to do it.
It's 2018.
Well, the Q4, November 2018.
Okay. But there's no Season 2.
No, and according to the internet, season 2 is not even scheduled.
Oh,
we'll,
buddy.
we'll get back to that.
Yeah.
We gotta
All
talk
right,
about
Rob, give us a show description on this one.
that. All right. As we know, the Netflix show descriptions aren't great. So this is a different show description I found on the internet. The Final Table is one of the most ambitious culinary competitions in the genre. The first season features 12 pairs of chefs around the world preparing national dishes from a number of nations. Each episode puts the focus on a specific country, with celebrity ambassadors, food critics, and the country's greatest chef judging the competitors and eliminating the least successful duo. In the season's final episode, the remaining teams break up, with the finalists completing as solo players to create distinctive signature dishes for the panel of all 9 legendary chefs. When it's all said and done, only one hopeful earns the show's ultimate prize, a spot at the final table with the 9 culinary icons. That's Final Table on Netflix.
Doo-doom.
I kind of zoned out.
People are cooking stuff.
It's
That's
that one sentence, one liner about what the.
Do you want me to give you the Netflix show description? Here it is.
Give it to me.
Teams of elite chefs vie to impress the world's toughest palates as they whip up iconic dishes from 9 nations in this star-packed competition.
Perfect. Great show description. I guess.
Here's the thing. That could fit a few different shows, minus like the whole 9 countries thing.
Whoa! I got to get into that. We're going to talk about that, but not right now.
Okay.
All right, what are we talking about
What we're
right
going to talk about right now is just like, okay, so the general gist of the show is like every cooking show, there's one challenge. They're given in this show, they were given like an Indian dish challenge.
now? This is the India
episode. So they were given.
Call back to our India show from last March.
Yeah, so
Oh.
Brian and I were eating Indian food, so we're like, anyway.
What was that show called again? Love something?
We'll get the minutia in the minutia segment. They had to make butter chicken, but without chicken. So they had 7.
Why without chicken?
I don't know.
India is 30% vegetarian,
Okay.
so you got to respect the vegetarian choice.
Heavy veggie.
Gotta respect. So this was judged by 3 judges, celebrity judges, which we'll get into, and then the bottom 3 teams had to compete to see who would go home. And then they brought in their real judge, which was like a real Michelin star chef, to judge these dishes. Then somebody went home,
Well,
and they had to use coconut
correct.
in their dish.
Yeah.
That was their challenge, was coconut.
Yeah, apparently he has 6 Michelin stars across all his restaurants, which is pretty good.
Yeah.
Oh, he's doing very good. Yeah.
Yeah, that's insane.
Vineet.
No, you were thinking of Love School.
Love School, yeah. The Graham generation.
All about the Graham generation.
Oh, I thought we did another show that was on Netflix where they visited India and did like Indian street food.
I think it was street food.
We did the Indian episode of that too. So.
You guys hated that.
Oh yeah, well, so very good.
Yeah.
No, we're all a collective here.
You gotta listen to the pod, dude. Don't spoil the pod.
All right. For those who are still going through the back catalog, spoilers.
Yeah. So there's a couple things you notice right off the bat with this show. Is there's like 7 groups of people left, and they're not giving any time to any of these people.
If
like
by
you don't
7 you mean 8, you're correct.
8 groups of people.
Yes.
And you know none of them. So we can't talk about any of them. I don't know if that's a consequence of showing up in episode 5 versus episode 1, because we usually do S1 E1s, but
We mixed it up this week.
we were mixing it
and
up.
We didn't get the intros, and now we don't know who anybody in the show is.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. They still have the sides where like they intro like a little bit of the backstory, but they don't go into like everybody. And I don't think that they did that for episode 1 either.
No, they do that. So per episode.
So quick
yeah.
quick interruption. Chris and I have never seen this show. Brian and Noah have watched the entire first season before. So we jumped into season 1, episode 5. So Chris and I are just like, we don't know what the hell's going on. Brian and Noah have seen this all before. So that's important context that is probably going to be important to what we talk about.
That said, I binged this when it came out because I was a big fan. So that's back in December 2018.
I mean, so also Rob and I point like we were talking to Harrison, James, Annabeth about like let's do Final Table around this time, around when it came out. They're like, we watched it. I'm like, what do you mean you watch it? We're doing it for the we got to do it for the pod, and then they wouldn't do it for the pod because they already watched it all. So some behind the scenes minutia.
Yeah, letting people behind the curtain in
Yeah.
how some people don't respect the pod enough.
Internal conflict at the pod.
Tweet at us. Let us know how upset you
Tweet
guys
at Harrison Hoffman. Really, that's what we got to do.
h@outlook.com.
are. Oh, email.
Oh,
They definitely loved it enough to like binge it, but then not enough to talk about it again. Like, what the hell?
I don't know. Anyway, we get back to the show. So you get these 8 people, and they're just
well,
like
8 teams of people.
8
There's
teams. So there's
16
16 people. I had this problem with the Lego show too. There's just so many people that I can't put them together. They're
Technically, there were less people in the Lego show, though. Based on the empty tables, it started with more people in the Lego show.
like, yeah. So they're given this dish. Well, I guess before the dish, they intro the celebrity judges, which I'll go over who they are. We've got Hassan Minaj, which he does. What's the show?
Patriot Act.
Patriot Act on Netflix, which I find is pretty good. The current seasons I enjoy. I did not really like when he started, but they're pretty good.
Though I gotta laugh at Netflix's reality show gets celebrity judge who hosts a different Netflix show. Good job,
Yeah.
Netflix. You got that synergy working hard.
The NCU.
Then we've got R. Madhavan, which I know nothing about this dude.
He's an Indian movie star, so if you know Indian movies, you probably know who he
Oh,
is.
he's
and we do not.
He's an Indian actor, writer, and film producer.
Oh,
Yeah.
multi-talented.
Now I lost my spot and then we've got Rashmi,
Rashmi, yeah.
which is an Indian food expert, TV host, and multi-award winning author. So she seemed like she had the most authority throughout the show. So I guess
Oh
that
yeah,
kind of
she was the one who really was making the decisions on who was making the cut and not. Hassan Minaj got a decent amount of airtime, quipping and stuff, and then the
Yeah.
third guy, you could have cut him and not really lost.
Yeah, that was just a very poor pick.
In other episodes, do they have a better third person? Are all 3 generally good, or is it just like still usually 1 or 2?
Like, you always get like one good one, really, and then you kind of get like 2 that are just like, we can hang out and make jokes, or like, oh my god, he's on there, that's great.
So is it always like? So this had someone from India who might be known to North American audiences through Netflix, an actual food critic from India, and some rando celebrity who's popular in India but rando to us.
Wait, is
We have no
Hassan
idea.
from India?
But clearly that
He's-
was why he was chosen.
He's
for this.
Indian, but I don't know. I
No,
thought
no,
he's
no.
from
That's
India.
not why he was chosen. We're talking about the Indian actor.
So I meant like Hassan may not be from India, but he was clearly chosen for this episode because of like an Indian background and a Netflix connection. Like
I don't
Yeah.
think he's native. I mean,
No,
I'm not gonna conjecture. 'cause
Going in the corner. Going in the corner.
I
like-
didn't mean to conjecture he was from India, but like clearly he had some
yeah,
Indian connection.
he's the American connection.
The American Indian connection. That's right. So is that kind of the normal routine of there's 3, one's an actual food critic, one has a connection but is more known to North American audiences, and one is purely someone who would only be known if you knew things about that country. Is that or is that a
That was like what I kind of noticed. So like, I mean, for example, the first one I thought of when we started talking about this was Mexico. Like episode 1 had Julio Chavez, and he's a boxer. Then you had Martha Higuera, who is a Mexican actress, and I think Mariana Camacho was the famous like food critic or like
Right.
actual knowledgeable person.
Yeah, it is common though that there's one food critic and then 2 well-known people generally in that country. It's rare for the other countries that you have like a well-known U.S. personality that has that heritage. That said, very much in the show they play into like people from that country. Like all the backstories, they choose people based on if you're from that country. So like it's heavy up on that. I don't know what you call it, but like that stereotype.
Wasn't this around the same time they had that like Ninja Warrior style show where they had a bunch of countries?
Oh yeah.
Beastmaster.
Beastmaster. This was definitely when Netflix was pushing the multiple country aspect because they're global.
Yeah.
Also, I guess on that note, the winner of the final table gets what? What do they have? Nothing.
You get a seat at the final table with all
What is the final table?
Respect.
Jesus.
And Jesus.
No, but
Sorry,
like
that was
so for every show, like for the elimination part, like they bring in like an actual master chef that's part of the table.
Oh, so at the end there's 9, and then the 10th person is there 10 judges?
I think there's only 9.
No,
Whatever,
it
how many
sounds like there's
episodes?
10 episodes, and so they, like, the Indian
Yeah.
chef, the Michelin stars, comes back for the last episode as one of the 9 in the final table that do the final judging.
Yeah.
And
Should
if
it
you
be
win,
12
you
or
become
13 though?
the 10th
or-
person at the final table.
Or do we not include Jesus in this?
Netflix really fucked up on this.
Well,
one.
I think I forget. Like the last episode might be like a 2-parter kind of thing.
It says the finale, and it doesn't have listed any judges, so like on Wikipedia. So I don't know.
yeah.
Somebody that watched the whole thing could tell me, but
two two
That was very
updates.
subtle shade there,
Yeah.
Chris.
So much hate. 2 updates. to
It's 2 years
conclude
ago,
this.
damn it.
Hassan's from California,
Great.
Yeah.
So
so close that book. The way the show ends, actually, because you get to a final chef, you notice there's pairs of chef on each team. How to get to one. The pair that gets to the end duels.
that's lame. Just have the two of them win.
There's only one seat at the table.
Whatever.
Yeah.
So then they're given this dish, this butter chicken dish, but you can't use chicken.
Mm-mm.
This was-
And I don't really know what to say a lot about this challenge.
Merg McConaughey.
I remember like this challenge immediately because it was so fucking dumb. Like I feel like if you don't have chicken in there, like there's a little bit of the flavor that's like just missing. So like you're trying to replace that and it's not gonna be the same.
That's the challenge, though, Brian. How can you make it just as good without that chicken?
But like also butter chicken has one flavor. Like it tastes like there's not a whole range of butter chicken flavors. There's like kind of like ones that you like better than others, but like in general, just kind of like the curry kind of should taste the way it should taste. There's no like it's not like like a hot dog where you've got like regular hot dog when you get a Chicago dog tastes way different or like
But that's just like different stuff in it. Like I thought you were like
no,
gonna
but like that's a bad example. But like, there's certainly like coconut, wide range of stuff you could do with a coconut. Like like all of those dishes could be so vastly different. Whereas like the butter curry, like butter chicken, like I don't know. I feel like they were really ham-fisted and constrained into what they could do.
But then on the flip side, it's like, if there's a way it's specifically supposed to taste, it's like, did you nail it or not? And some people clearly did not with that bitterness.
Yeah.
Well, I would say the creativity was less in the flavor of the gravy, right? Like even though
Yeah.
they seem to ding them hardcore on like the most minute aspects of the gravy, which seems way too minutia, it was much more on what are you going to use as the meat substitute in the presentation.
Well, that's why they had to be so minutia about it because they're like there wasn't anything else to critique.
The whole other dish, and also they gave lassies. They didn't even taste the lassies most of the time, which was very disappointing.
Well, they just didn't show them.
I think they tasted them, they just didn't show it.
Who knows?
bad editing.
Right. Quick aside on showbizcheatseat.com. The
my
winner
site.
wins both the favor of the judges and a seat at the final table, which is actually a physical table, but
Yeah.
serves as the show's thematic symbol of victory. There are no cash prizes, book deals, or contracts waiting for the winner at the end of the journey, but competing chefs are technically already well established in their countries and don't mind the exposure they've gotten from the 10 straight hours many viewers spent with them.
that is
So, according to showbizcheatsheet.com, you get a whole bunch of nothing but some
It
publicity.
sounds legit.
that's definitely why they can't find people for season 2. Like that just doesn't show them any respect.
I mean, well, let's get into that later. I
Okay,
think that
okay.
there's a lot to talk about there.
Netflix could open the vault for season 2 if they wanted to.
So the other, so the
Well, wait, hold on. This goes into our ongoing debate. How much do the chefs just get paid
they definitely got paid.
to be on the show?
They got paid a per episode thing, yeah.
Who
for sure.
got paid more, the competing chefs or the judges' chefs?
Good judges.
Yeah, like going to one of our most favorite topics. How did the show get made? The production
schedule.
schedule.
How many episodes per day were they filming?
No,
we gotta go there.
You got to jump to the end to really then wrap around your head. So the last episode, they have each of the celebrity chef judges at the same table. So they're all in the same room at once, yet they made 9 episodes prior to that.
It's all right. My conjecture here is a week. Film a couple episodes a day, 5 days.
I don't think it's a week. I think 3 a day.
Ooh.
I don't
Day
think so.
4, you film the final table.
I just don't think you could have these chefs cook for like 8 hours. They're cooking like so. I wanted to get, and this is my next comment. Is it's like
Let's go.
This challenge is 60 minutes, and these guys are just running like nonstop. They're like sweating.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
why I think that like in general, you probably can only do 2 a day. Like just you're not gonna get the quality of cooking you need for the show to do more than 2 a day. Especially if you end up like our boy or the one team that was in the final, the like bottom 3 twice or 3 times.
Three
like
times.
if you're like in the same day,
Ash.
Ash and Andy.
yeah. So
Or
you're
Alex.
definitely gonna get kicked out. You're like the quality of your performance is gonna be pretty low, especially for a show like this where like they're trying to be top of the top. Like they're trying to be the Iron Chef, the like top chefs. They're not trying to be like nailed it. Where they're the bottom chef. Film like 50 of those a day. Who cares?
Yeah, I mean, if you think of professions that have stamina, it's like chefs in the medical field, right? Like they do like those crazy shifts.
It's true. You might be right. They're kind of trained to go for 12 hours. So like
Yeah.
maybe this is a light day for them.
Yeah, exactly. You know, they got to cook 3
hours.
dishes. Yeah.
Cook for 3, maybe 6 hours. You know, at the worst.
Yeah.
So maybe you're right. I don't know. It's guaranteed not to be over 2 weeks. A week, like an episode a day, would be stretching it. I think, but
Yeah.
still possible.
Well, I mean, do you think like they got to get a new audience in? You know,
Is it a new audience every time?
unclear, right?
I
but
doubt it.
that's a long
It's
time.
part
for
of the production schedule. We really need to get an interview with people so we get a better handle, so we have cogent responses to this.
Is Ash available? I feel Ash might be available.
So somebody tweeted Ash. Can we get some production schedule?
Somebody, aka Noah. Can you,
I'm gonna get us someone who's a producer of a reality TV show.
That can actually talk about it. Though.
Yeah,
we don't want anyone.
It'll be our first real guest host.
Yeah.
I think we just we get Harrison ABC go on Temptation Island, and then we just get all the
All
info,
the deets.
all the inside
I'm not
Good
sure they're
luck,
allowed
guys.
to talk about it though.
info. We'll get it in the contract. That's fine.
Okay.
I did say a guy I used to work with is on the current season of Survivor.
Oh.
Wait, the winter season?
Yeah.
So he's a winner.
Yeah. He's a winner. He's gone back.
Is it Boston
yeah,
Rob?
yeah.
Do you work with Boston Rob?
Yule.
Yule. Yeah.
Yeah. We watched that season. Me and my girlfriend watched that season between the last 2.
Yeah. I used to work like very sparingly with him, and now he works at Google.
Yeah.
now.
He like tried to be a reality show host too after
was that
his
one of the-
first season of Survivor.
Was that one of the Race War seasons?
Yeah. He winner of
damn.
Race Wars.
You worked with the guy who won a race war?
Yeah.
That's
You
intense.
should have talked to him about Race Wars.
Very nice guy.
Can we get him on the pod?
I'll message him.
I
I
mean-
I haven't talked to him in a long time, but
Yeah,
Say
I
hi.
mean, he definitely seems very nice. Like,
he's
he
super
seems-
nice. Yeah.
He seems like a very like straight laced kind of guy.
He's
which
like
is,
amazing. Yeah.
Shocking for like a Survivor contestant, let alone a Survivor winner.
Right. Yeah.
But this was
I think that might have been the last season I watched live.
it was season 13, so this is
That sounds about
was
right.
like 30 seasons ago. Anyway,
Chris, quick interruption. What hard seltzer are we sponsored by this week? Because we've been sponsored by hard seltzers most of the last month.
Sorry.
don't cough into the mic, dude.
It was into my armpit. Supposedly that's okay
yeah,
now.
well, like push the mic to the side. We don't need that on the.
I wasn't sure if you recognized that was a fake cough.
I don't know. Anyway.
For our sponsor.
Yeah, our sponsor. So Corona decided they're gonna release their hard seltzer right at a good time. You know, if you're in the U.S. or
Corona's in the
globe at this time.
news. Good
Yeah.
job, Corona. is
Good
what I
job,
say.
Corona. So we got some Corona seltzers this week. I think they're pretty good. They're definitely like they're not like my favorite, but they're very like refreshing to drink, which is what you really need.
They are good. I wonder if in the marketing department at Corona, so there is a maxim in marketing that, any news is good news, right? You're just getting your brand out there. When if they're like, you know what, our brand's getting out there all the time. We got to push the pedal to the metal.
I don't know. I mean, this was definitely clearly planned. There's like, so every time, I mean, I don't know how much of a tangent we want to get into, but every time I go to the grocery store, there's at least, there's one new like seltzer brand, and there's like 4 I haven't tried. So like,
Nuts.
I'm just working my way through, and like, so each week's a new one.
Yeah.
You say every time you go to the grocery store. I say every time I come to Chris's apartment to open the fridge, there's new seltzer brands in there.
It's true. I mean, when you drink a lot, when we're over here, half the box goes away, so I got to replenish. So.
Yeah. Sometime I gotta actually just bring you a seltzer box as like compensation.
We all do, yeah. We definitely owe you.
It's okay. All right, back to the show.
Back to the show.
This I don't really know what else to talk about, but anyway, so they're
Hassan
making this butter chicken for 60 minutes, and people are replacing it with cauliflower and like eggplant, and there was somebody that replaced it with an egg.
Yeah.
Which that was that dish looked nuts, like the most unique dish for sure.
They crushed it.
There was a paneer kofta. There was somebody made like the sauce with like pumpkin.
Oh, pumpkin, yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Halloween.
There was just like it was going by so fast, and I didn't like. This is one of the things I don't really like about this show is like there's all these things. It's on there for like 20 seconds. I don't even get a chance to think about what this thing's gonna taste like, and then it's gone. And they're just like random words thrown at me that I have no idea what they mean or how they would taste. They're just like at a different level of culinary like stuff that I'm more like used to. That it's just I don't know.
But the counter to that is this show's moving.
Yeah.
And that's something we tend to appreciate of like it doesn't waste its time recapping and showing you too much of the same thing. Like it's going, it's got challenge 1, it's moving through it, gets on to the next one. Like it's trying to keep you going through the thing.
I mean, it's moving, and the music like is crazy. It feels like I'm in a Mission Impossible movie.
For sure. It's good production on the show too. Like the set's real nice, real fancy looking. There's a lot of like fancy light stuff going on. Like they're definitely Netflix didn't skimp on making this look like a real nice looking show.
Producers are really good for the show. Unsure who did it, but every chef on the show is incredible. The bar so high. Clearly they're getting like decent talent to be the judges as well. Like whoever made this, they know what they're doing.
Should we go to the next challenge?
Let's do it.
So the bottom 3 go to this next challenge.
Well, why were people generally the bottom 3?
I have no idea.
The lack of sweetness in the butter chicken. So supposedly butter chicken has to have a hint of sweetness. And people just didn't catch that.
Yeah, this is just
Not too much sweetness, but can't be too bitter either.
Right. Like it was just the most minutia of
that's
sauce.
what I mean. That's what
detail.
I complained about. Is like this dish is like so specific that they're getting kicked off because it's not sweet. Like whatever. I mean, I don't know.
I got a couple so these are all teams of 2. Do they explain in earlier episodes how these people get paired up? Like, on Lego show, it seemed mostly it was people that knew each other and stuff. There was the one that's like met on the Lego internet corner. How do these people know each other? Because some of them are from different countries. Like, do we know?
Yeah, I mean, there was at least like one where they talked about like a trip that they went on and like, oh, this is the dish that they had. So I'm pretty sure like they all knew each other.
I think
Maybe-
they could or could not. I don't think that there's
Yeah.
like because like it said. Oh, the thing that I read was like that each chef was paired with a fellow chef that they knew from their personal or professional life before the event. So theoretically, they either work together or are friends.
Got it.
That according
Yeah.
to Wikipedia. What's that guy?
You can tell like there's some relationships like Alex and Ash like pretty tight. They took a vacation together, and other chefs like they might have like crossed paths professionally at some random point, but it's like, oh yeah, you okay,
I mean, there was that Indian woman. Like they clearly weren't friends,
right?
So like, who knows?
Yeah.
It also, and I'm curious about what the start of, but like, there's way more male pairings than other options on this show. And like, did it start off that way, or has the judging been one-sided so far through the competition?
I honestly don't remember. It's been a bit. Like,
I mean, it's been a bit, and we decided that we weren't going to do S1E1. We decided we'd jump
All
in
right.
the middle.
So James and Angel were eliminated the first week. Colin and Colibri were eliminated second week. Shin and Ronald third week. Jessica and Johnny fourth week. Alex and Ash this week.
So it seems like there were not a lot of women.
Not a lot
teams.
of women in this. Like, there was James and Angel. Maybe they were man and woman. I don't know.
I don't know.
I mean, you can go deep in the internet. There's a lot of chatter about how male-dominated and sexist, like the high restaurant world is.
Right.
Yeah, and so
Well, yeah, Netflix can go the extra mile to find those diamonds in the rough.
they should have, yeah.
Anyway, second challenge.
Second
so
challenge.
We've got, spoiler alert, Ash and what's spoilers? Alex and Ash. They're in there. The only people I remember for a very specific reason. Then we've got the judge, which was Vineet Bhatia.
Mm-hmm.
And he was a Michelin star chef in
Is.
London.
Yeah.
Well, he is. And I guess India, which was, they had like this blurb. He got the most screen time for like one person of this
He had a
whole
nice
show.
backstory thing of, so he was a chef in India. He kind of was unhappy with how rigid he felt India cuisine was. Moved to London, set up a whole empire in London, got a Michelin star, at least one Michelin star, and eventually came back to India with the sort of the clout to do things differently with Indian cuisine.
One minutia I want to bring up is that they said that this was the first Indian restaurant in 110 years or something to get a Michelin star.
They
Like,
did say
how
something.
old is this Michelin star thing? Like, what is a Michelin star minutia? Does anyone know?
Yeah, so Michelin, the maker of tires, wanted to promote people taking road trips and going traveling. And so they created the Michelin Guide for restaurants to promote traveling. Over time, that turned into then this like very high society of food ratings. That's about it.
The first Michelin guide was literally in 1900. So
Okay.
he could have been the first, when he says the first in 100 years, like the first one ever to be in the Michelin guide. If that's true, then that was the first 100 years.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like, that's pretty institutional at that point. Like over 100 years at this point.
I mean, no, getting a Michelin star is the institution. There is no other rating that compares.
What about Zayed, dude?
No one cares about Zagat anymore.
Yeah. As someone who doesn't know much about restaurants, Michelin star is a huge deal.
No, I know. I'm messing with you.
And you can get 1 or 2 or 3, and like you get 3, you're like insane.
You get that $6 price tag on Google Maps.
oh yeah, got 5 stars on Yelp. What up?
Quick tangent. On my honeymoon, we were in the south of France and we went to this random restaurant. We thought it was a random restaurant that was highly rated, and we weren't dressed up that nice. And then it turned out it had a Michelin star. And my wife was like, "Should we like maybe not go here?" I was like, "It's fine." And they sat us like as close to the door as possible and away from like the nice part of the restaurant.
I thought you were going to say the back near the kitchen.
I didn't think it was terrible. Like we were near the dessert tray, so people kept coming to get like the dessert tray to show everyone else and stuff. But it was I enjoyed it.
No, I mean,
No regrets.
I've been to a Michelin star restaurant in New York, which was like a sushi restaurant. Not my favorite. It's like they just kind of like, it's one of those kind of tasting menus where they just the chef gives you whatever they think you're gonna like. And it just
Omakase.
wasn't like, not my thing, really. Anyway, back to this challenge of coconut. Which
Coconut.
I'm very so is all the challenges, the last challenge, just like some random ingredient, and like is it the idea that it just has to be featured? Like you have to be able to taste it, can't just be in it.
Correct.
Can't
Yeah.
just be like we'll put some coconut over the top. Use coconut oil to like cook it.
Yeah.
It has to be central to your final.
Exactly. Yeah, so the show format is the same every episode, right? Like cook a dish first and you balance like how creative you want to get with that dish. Then the second challenge is there is an ingredient that represents a country that the chef chooses, and yeah, it has to be prominent in the dish, right? So if you chose coconut, it was like, yeah, we have like coconut in the background. It'd be like, no, the challenge was coconut.
Yeah, and a show we haven't done, but like this sounds a lot like Iron Chef, where there's a competitor against a well-known chef, and there's an ingredient, and you've got to make the ingredient like the centerpiece of your dishes.
So these three people, two of them make some sort of fish dish, and somebody makes a lamb dish.
As soon as two people are doing a fish dish, you're like, the lamb dish people are good. Like,
Yeah.
well, they're going to get rid of one of these fish dishes.
The
for sure.
comparison becomes very ripe when you make the same dish.
Yeah.
And there was like the guy was way more interested in like the cooking compared to the three celebrity judges in the first challenge, or at least what we saw.
That's
There-
pretty
it could-
consistent.
Could be like a time thing where like they have like they have 5 more groups of people cooking, so you don't have enough time to like go over how much they cared.
But it makes sense that like if you have celebrity judges, they're focused on one set of things, and you have an actual like Michelin star chef. He's looking at a different set of criteria of what he thinks is good cuisine.
But even when they were cooking, he was like, "Oh, are you doing this? What are you doing?" Like he was way more interested, and like he tried some things and gave some tips and pointers. Like that, I think was almost the best part was that he went through, actually gave some like tasted it, tried it, and gave like his personal opinion, which some of these shows don't like tend to do.
I thought he was great. I'm curious, like how if that's just a theme throughout all these episodes, or if just like he was actually like a really good final judge chef to come in and do this, because I thought he was super interesting to listen to and get his take on stuff.
Yeah. Every episode that's consistent. The chef goes around and they give like very specific feedback, which is fascinating, right? And a lot of times contestants they adjust, and like when the chef's then tasting the food evaluating, it's like, oh yeah, cool, all right, cool. You know?
I mean, you have to. If we've seen enough of these things. If you don't, you're out.
Yeah, I think the U.S. episode's really cool with that. They had his name like Grant Schatz or something like that. He runs Alinea in Chicago, which is known for usually being like one of the best restaurants in the world, if not the best. And he gives very good feedback.
You give Grant a chats if it is enunciated any way it's spelled. So they get to judging these things. The lamb dish, he complains that it is too sweet. And the fish dish by our friends Alex and Ash was overcooked. And the other dish he loved. No negative things according to what we saw.
Yeah.
And so Alex and Ash were gone. And that was the end of the episode.
It was funny. The one with like Graham and Aaron, like he put on his glasses and then
Oh yeah, second fish dish.
yeah. And then you made the comment, he's looking for the flavor.
It's true. I did make that comment. That was funny.
I'd be looking at flavor.
Gotta find that flavor. It was
But-
odd that he put his glasses on.
Well, he also made the comment before that, he's like, are you sure you really like focus on the flavor? Are you really sure? And
Did you get Guy Fieri in here? You going to Flavor Town?
It's Guy Fieri Day.
Flavor Town.
And you won't have any other minutia that I want to get into.
There is a very Ryan Seacrest like host
Let's talk about the host a little bit.
who does have the bona fides. He's editor at large for Bon Appetit. So even though he looks like a Ryan Seacrest type, he actually got the good shit.
Okay.
How do you feel he was as the host of the show? Was he too Ryan Seacresty for you?
He's whatever.
That's what you want. You want him to be whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I do got to say to his credit, sometimes he does come out with a really good insight when he's going around different tables in other episodes. In this episode, he's kind of whatever.
He's just not. That's not his job, though.
Like, would you rather have Will Arnett as the host of this show?
No.
Would you rather have Amy Poehler as the host?
Well, I might want Will Arnett for this show because it's. For me, it's too intense. Like, I need some calm moments. There's no calm moments in this show. We're just moving.
Yeah, I got to say, to the host's credit, because this is his domain, food, he does pull like rabbits out of a hat sometime, right? Because he actually understands what people are up to and doing. I think actually it's probably a missed opportunity for the show that he could actually step up and deliver a lot of really interesting information. They probably push him to be like, no, just smile and walk around.
Just Seacrest. Just
Yeah.
Seacrest.
Yeah.
I don't have any problems with the host. He is meh, and that's fine. I have something to talk about in terms of like cooking shows. Just like they're just like not really my thing. For like we've talked about before, we're like, okay, what? So this makes sense. You're the top of the top chefs, right? So like you've set a category. A lot of shows it's hard to have a category. Like this is top of the top chefs. But at the top of the top, I have a hard time imagining what these things taste like. Like they can describe them, they can kind of give you an idea, but at the end of the day, we're moving and I have no idea what these things taste like. I have no idea who these people are because we're just moving too quick. So like in terms of just like the show, I'm missing something. I'm missing a reason to watch the show other than, see who gets eliminated.
What about the food porn though?
That's my problem. Like, I don't know how to food porn. Like, you show me a Philly cheesesteak, like a pizza or something. Like, I understand how that would taste or like things. But like, when we get to this top echelon of Michelin star food, like, how am I supposed to
You can't imagine that butter chicken cauliflower in your mouth.
no.
You're mixing up hardcore food porn, which is what you're talking about with pizza and Philly cheesesteaks. Like it's like brutal and rough. Versus a softcore food porn, which we're watching here, which is like very delicate and artistically put down.
Yeah.
Two different categories. You know?
I mean, that's fine.
Yeah, the one chef, he went to the final, the bottom three. But he was like the tall guy with the necklaces. I forgot his name, but on the show, he has like an art background. So everything he does, it's literally like a work of art. It's bananas. They didn't do this on this episode. He did the mango dish, which kind of looked whatever. But he's just very fun to watch. So again, like softcore.
No, I
Softcore.
mean, I can see it's compelling. It's just, I think it's missing something.
Yeah, that is a tricky dimension of food shows, right? Because they always have to describe the taste, and there's only so many words that are probably out there to get into the taste.
Yeah.
Not just that, but like for these, since there's like so many shows, like you have to come up with something unique to do for like this new show to like justify it. So it's just going to get crazier and crazier and push them to the limit. And I'm sure it tastes good, but like you're never going to have a dish like that in your life. Like just never, because it's only going to be for this show.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to any of these guys' restaurants where they're like buttered cauliflower.
No, why won't
Like,
they just
that's
go with the
not
fucking
gonna
regular
be-
stuff?
Yeah,
and-
it's just not going to be a thing. I don't know.
So, is there an opportunity here for Amazon, who is a video service and a delivery service, to be like, every time you pop on Final Table Amazon, like butter chicken shows up at your house, and you can eat butter chicken while you're watching the show?
Or order it. Oh,
I mean, I don't want to get the dishes on the show personally.
What if
But,
they
like,
give you
when
the ingredients?
You're watching the butter chicken episode, and you get butter chicken delivered to your house. Is that an opportunity?
That is also good, because there is it's a generalized dish, right? The U.S. episode, they do like Thanksgiving meal, right?
see, there's so much room to go Thanksgiving meal. Butter chicken? Come on.
Thanksgiving meal is by far the most interpretive.
Like,
Like,
you make whatever you
But-
want there.
So it sounds like you just don't like the episode we picked because
Maybe.
chicken's too specific.
Yeah.
I've heard
Usually
that they
it's a
made it.
specific dish. I think that was the only episode actually. It was like there's like 12 things that come with the Thanksgiving meal.
I like
you
in
know?
the USA episode that the judges are Dax Shepard and Colin Hanks. It's
Yeah.
like-
Dax Shepard,
I
my,
felt too
my boy.
stereotypical picking the U.S. one.
No, I'm glad we didn't pick the US one. We
You might have enjoyed it better.
it was
I might have.
It was a better, overall sense of the show, I think.
But you don't get Vineet Bhatia, who's very good.
He was good.
Ratings? All right, Brian, what do you got for me?
I don't think I can rate it like anything lower than the top because I watched the entire thing. So it's definitely on the bottom of the top. There's some problems, but I really enjoyed this. I would love a season 2, but if they're not paying them, I don't think you're going to get the same talent.
Rob, what do you got?
I think I'd agree. I think this one goes in the top. I think as a food show goes, this was a pretty good food show. good production value, good sort of an interesting kind of gimmick to kind of keep it going while still following kind of the normal kind of formula for food shows. I thought it was pretty compelling. I like the every different episode is a different country theme as your gimmick. I think that's a pretty good way to do it.
What do you got, Noah?
Very few reality shows do I continue to watch. They're selling Sunset, a marvelous
Oh
show.
my god!
And
I
just
know.
like that, the entire
No.
argument is gone.
The entire audience is like, "Well, we don't care about your opinion."
Womp
Noah."
womp. No, but like similar to Brian, I binge this. I really like it. I'm a fan of the speed. There can be improvements on some critical detail, but as far as the genre of reality TV, it's got to go top of the top up there with the Deadliest Catch.
Top of the top.
What? Deadliest Catch has nothing, barely anything to do with food.
No,
It's
no,
the pre-food stage.
It's how you get food.
no reality genre
That-
and the stuff we
that's-
watched here.
that-
That
You mean reality
snapper that was in Final Table, you only get that because of Deadliest Catch.
So if you go back to my ratings over time, I think this is
Yeah.
the third show I put top of the top.
Yeah.
Or
Go
second.
back and listen and keep your own notes.
That back catalog.
Keep your own notes.
I guess Noah's really done a turnaround of being very consistently putting shows in the bottom third to putting a decent number of shows in the top third. It's been a big turnaround.
I have noticed this.
the more you watch.
Yeah, I
But
hope
it's
my
a-
critical eye's not like getting more dull.
But I mean, that's a good stack ranking. If it ends up balancing out. That's what you want. That's what you want to see.
Yeah, these are buckets. These aren't like we're not telling you to compare them against all TV shows. Anyway, on that note, I'm obviously more negative about the show than everyone.
Mm.
So I think it's a middle third show, but if you were gonna press me, this would be a top third food show. Food shows are probably my least favorite show, and I kind of keep that away from the pot a lot because I don't want to watch them, so we don't watch them. So like in terms of food shows, like it was pretty good, like, but in general, just the standard competition show with people I didn't care about, with people I didn't know. It's just like I expect more from like these competition shows. I mean, that's just where I'm at.
Fair.
Rob, I need the
Ooh.
update. You got the update?
I got the update for you, and I got some very very troubling news. I don't know if the Masked Singer really has a good gauge of who should go home and who shouldn't.
Are you saying it's not like a true competition?
I'm not sure you can trust the process. Is what I'm
What?
saying. So this week, the person who went home was the Mouse, and the Mouse turned to be Dionne Warwick, and this is a theme of older African American women that sing really well and don't dance. And there's now a theme of Masked Singer cares more about good dancing than good singing. And this is part of the Gronk problem I've been complaining about. And now it's spilling out into other things of like, I don't know what their criteria is, but like if you are just have a good voice and just stand there and sing, you get kicked off versus someone who can't sing but is just
It's all about the
bouncing around.
performance.
it's all about the performance. And it's no good.
So this is the second group of
So
six.
we got Dionne Warwick's gotten kicked out. We got Shaka Khan got kicked out. Season 1, we had Patti LaBelle got kicked out pretty early, and this is the theme of these women who are older with a lot of soul in their voice, and they just don't dance, they just sing, and either getting kicked out too early, and it's not right.
So counterpoint, like demographics aside, like if you go to a concert and like they're not putting on a show, like you're gonna be really bored really quickly, even if they are a really good performer, or sorry, singer. Like it's a whole act, like just like going on stage.
I mean, to some degree that's true, but there's clearly worse people not going home. That's the problem.
See, that's what I want to see.
I brought this up when we talked about the show the first time. Was like, what are they getting kicked out for? It's unclear. Are they getting kicked out for their voice? Like the first season, it seemed like that was the case. But now, that you can make that's sure that's like not the case.
Like the voice is still an important part of it, but like each season it feels less and less like the voice is the key, and that's a problem.
It should be the masked performer.
That's not the name of the show, Noah.
No, but I'm saying based on what you're saying, the expectation should not be your singing capability.
Are you sure it's just like not the mass promotion show where like you get kicked off when you have like your thing you're trying to promote's like coming up this week?
That would not surprise me.
I mean, Lil Wayne did get kicked off, and then the next day I saw Lil Wayne's new album. Now. So
There's definitely
That was a
who,
little- that was a
who was the
questionable.
person that got kicked off last week?
Diane Warwick.
No, the week before that.
Before that was Tony Hawk.
Tony Hawk. It's like Tony Hawk has a documentary or something coming out.
Right.
Oh, he has it coming out, but like you couldn't kick it off like in 2 more weeks. It would have been fine.
Yeah, I know.
Like
It's just like
Tony Hawk was a boot out. I think Diane Warwick should have stuck around for at least 1 more week.
There's so many more contestants left.
There's so many contestants.
It's-
There's 6 contestants we haven't even seen yet.
When's
This is so nutty.
when's the next season start? June?
Well, we have
July?
I don't know. We have a bet on this. I said September, so we'll see. See what
Okay.
happens.
To their credit, they have the most, I don't know, heartwarming, enjoyable names for the characters. Banana, astronaut.
What is so heartwarming about Banana?
It's just funny.
Can you explain this to me?
They're just all over the place.
Like,
Like,
I
they're not
gotta-
trying. It's
I-
just funny.
I got a prediction for you, Chris. I think the taco,
Yeah.
and I said this before the judges said it, is Seth MacFarlane.
No.
Who has the Fox connection, Family Guy, a bunch of other shows, but the taco's been singing these like old timey, like Frank Sinatra kind of songs, and Seth MacFarlane is definitely that's kind of his jam is to do stuff like that.
So did it air tonight?
There's a new episode tonight that I don't know the
Yeah,
results.
I was
of,
going
so
to say like the Wikipedia page.
no,
yeah.
no spoilers. No,
Yeah, I know. Just
keep that internet corner in check.
the corner's in the pocket.
So I've been keeping up with Lego Masters.
Ooh,
It's definitely it's kind of there's still too many people on the show, but I'm starting to get to know them like the more I watch it, which probably would happen if I kept watching the show. I don't know, but they're kind of fun. It's just kind of fun to see what people make because they're like can be so wildly out there. And the second challenge was really cool. They like built things and then they destroyed them. They like took
Ooh.
like a baseball bat or dropped them from like the balcony, and that was kind of cool.
so was there like value in how little got destroyed or in how well it got destroyed?
It was
or-
all about how well it got destroyed. So
Interesting.
like if it didn't fully get destroyed, you got points docked.
Oh.
And like the one couple that we thought was like did really really bad the first week
Yeah.
that like never met before the
the
show.
ones who met on
On
Lego Reddit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still on the show.
What?
Oh,
Still on the show.
damn it. Hey now.
I don't remember if we had any bets on that show, but
We didn't have any official bets.
yeah. And I
Which is
get,
good for me because I would have bet against that.
I mean, they were pretty close to get kicking off the second episode, but they've definitely turned around. They're like last episode, they were in the top 2.
Damn.
So
Yeah.
they definitely, I think they made up / made out a bit.
So they banged, and now they've unlocked their Lego skills.
They've released that tension.
There was a lot of tension in the first episode.
Dude, the challenges in that show are so long.
Yeah.
Like
15 hours is what I heard.
so the last challenge was like 8 and 6. They had like 8 hours, then they had a secondary 6 hours.
Damn. Have they had the Duplo challenge yet or not yet?
No, yet. No.
Oh, do you think that's gonna be a challenge?
I hope so.
That'd be great.
Oh, there was
Yeah.
this one challenge where somebody was trying to they had like 10 hours, I think, and they were trying to make half a car attached to like this pinata, and they just failed. They just didn't do it, and they got kicked off because it was not complete.
I mean,
Just
if your
like they
thing
have
is not
10
complete, you
hours.
should get kicked
But
off.
they have 10 hours. Like, what are you doing? You just make it and then make the details better. Like,
They're just,
they just didn't finish.
they're just drawn on that iPad for 2 hours.
what are you doing?
Writing words like cow.
I just hope on the Duplo episode they bring in Diplo and they just party down.
Oh, that'd be great.
Oh, yeah. Anyone else have any other updates I want to go over? All right. Well, you can find us on Twitter at WhoWouldThisOn. You can find us on Facebook.com/WhoWouldThisOn. You can email us questions and suggestions at WhoWouldThisOn@gmail.com. And we'll see you guys next time.
Coconut.